right before COVID hit, so this is like 2019, I had an experience where I was living in another country. I ended up getting kicked out of that country and coming back here to the States, and just kind of hit this point in my life where I was like, I'm done with my past career, which was being a trauma nurse. So I just kind of was like, I'm done. I want to do something that feeds my soul, that, I'm really passionate about. So I just decided to start an agency. It's called Chunky Unicorn Creative. And I just started doing graphic design. And then through that process, I learned a lot. Like, there was a big learning curve with that. So I decided that I was going to come back to school and get a degree in it so that I could really understand on a deeper level, like, the standards for what I do and in my field, and what people are really truly looking for and where the market is at and how customers are really experiencing design right now. So I decided to come back to school and do graphic design. So I had never heard of PPSC. I had just moved to Colorado. So I didn't know anything about it. So basically I chose this school because it had the program that I needed at the time. But I think that we're all kind of led down the path that we're supposed to go. So this school has been a catalyst to help me grow, like, immensely, miles and miles, right? Not only coming back to school being older, in my mid-30s, but also having been diagnosed with autism, made it, just more difficult. And I was actually late diagnosed in 2023, right after I came back here to go to school. I have faced quite a few challenges. I would say just being autistic is a challenge in itself. It's kind of like being raised in one country and then they just drop you down into another country without telling you about the culture or what the language is. There were a lot of days where I felt like I'm not meant to be here, because my brain operates in such a different way. The way that I understand information is different. The way that I perceive situations is different. The way I interact in social situations is different because I don't necessarily understand, right? So I don't get social cues and things like that. So being in a classroom full of strangers and people who have these societal rules and expectations, but they just kind of already know, right, inherently from being, a human in the world. I didn't understand those things. So there was a lot of learning how to interpret what people were communicating to me in a way like that's hidden, right? So people who use sarcasm maybe, or body language or facial expressions to communicate, those are things that I don't understand. There are things that I don't see. When multiple people are talking at the same time, my brain wants to listen to everything all at once instead of being able to focus on the professor. If somebody is talking over here, my brain wants to listen to that. If someone's talking on my right, my brain wants to listen to that all at the same time. When environmental factors like lights and sounds and smells are all interacting at the same time, what happens is it overwhelms my nervous system and I'll have what's called a meltdown. So that just means that I don't know if you've ever felt like really frustrated or really overwhelmed and you just want to like be angry and cry. So that's basically what a meltdown is. So I would have those every time I was in class. I mean, a class is 2 hours. I would be in the bathroom for 40 minutes of it because I would go in there for 10 minutes and I would cry and be really upset. And then I would go back and I would try again. And then I would be in class for a few minutes and then I would have to do it again. My body was trying to adjust to an environment that I didn't have any experience in. So that was really hard to navigate. So there were so many days that I wanted to quit, but pride just was like, you can't quit. And I think a lot of that has to do with me being an autistic adult and wanting to be that inspiration, that catalyst for other adults with autism who can say like, well, she did it, so I can do it, right? She struggled and she committed herself and she never gave up, and I can do the same thing. Earning my degree is important to me because I want to be able to give my best self to my industry. Being a graphic designer, I specialize in accessibility. So my job as a graphic designer is to take things that are in print or maybe digital, which would be like websites, flyers, different things like that, and make them accessible for other people with disabilities. So being able to get an education is going to position me in a place in my industry of she knows what she's talking about. She's put in the work. So I have 2 children, they're 17 and 16. My kids have definitely seen me be successful. So I don't think that this journey was for my kids. I think this journey was for myself, so that I could have a sense of pride in myself. I'm grateful for a lot. I think I'm really most grateful for the people that I've met, the relationships that I've cultivated. I have some really strong bonds with my professors. So there's quite a few that have seen me from day one to where I am now, which is drastically different. And they've become strong mentors for me. They've become people that I can go, hey, I'm really struggling today. Can you help me? Or, hey, I really don't understand this the way that so-and-so is teaching it to me. Can you please give me a different perspective or explain it to me in another way? Or I can just stop by their office and say, hey, how have you been? Right? I can just be myself and be authentic. And, I've really cultivated these strong bonds with my professors. I would walk around campus and I would get lost down hallways because the numbers were a little bit confusing. So there were many times where I was late for class, and then I would feel really bad that I was late for class, and luckily I have instructors who are like, it's okay, Esmerelda, we understand. Here's what you missed. Let me help you, right? So I think them bringing me under their wing, each one of them has done it. I'm so grateful for that. Each one of them being compassionate and having empathy towards me has enabled me to be successful. Because if they didn't have that empathy or that compassion, I wouldn't have been able to. So, being able to really talk to them and see on each other's level, that was really important to me. So I'm really grateful for that, because I don't think I would have made it through without that. I think I would have given up for sure. I think that a lot of people give up because they feel like they can't do it, or maybe they don't understand, especially other adults with autism. They feel like they are ostracized from society. They feel like I'm so different, I don't fit in. I think that the advice is stop trying to fit in and create your own space and stand in that space. Because I think that's what one of the biggest things that I had to do was, instead of trying to be neurotypical, trying to be like everyone else, I just needed to be autistic. And I just needed to stand in my own space and own whatever space I take in that room, which sometimes is a lot and sometimes is not a lot. So just being in that and owning that and not feeling like I needed to be someone else. So I would tell them, keep going, don't give up, and be vulnerable and be honest. I didn't realize how much this school actually offered until I just, jumped off the bridge and hoped that there was water at the bottom. But this school really has been such a good place to start. There's so much that's offered here. There's so much support. There's so many different programs. They're helping a lot of different people. And I'm really glad that I started here.